Number 1, Nikko Jenkins. The night was warm. A lone SUV crawled along a quiet Omaha street just after midnight. Inside, Andrea Krueger sang softly to the radio, thinking of her 2 young daughters asleep at home. She never saw the shadows step into the road, for gunshots cracked the silence. By the time police arrived, her body lay in the middle of the asphalt, headlights still burning, blood pooling like spilled ink. No robbery, no words exchanged, just chaos wearing human skin. Omaha, Nebraska, summer 2013. A city of wide parks and quiet suburbs suddenly felt haunted. People locked doors they once left open. Mothers checked on sleeping children twice. Something ancient and hungry had been set loose. Andrea Krueger was 33, a devoted mother who worked the night shift so she could be home when her girls woke up. She loved country music, sunflowers, and the simple dream of watching her daughters grow. She was kind without effort, the kind of woman strangers smiled at in grocery lines. On August 11th, she kissed her babies goodbye, told them she'd see them in the morning, and drove into a nightmare that had been waiting 26 years to be born. Nikko Allen Jenkins was released from prison on July 30th, 2013. 10 days later, Andrea was dead. 10 days after that, Curtis Bradford, someone Nikko once called a friend, would be executed with 2 bullets to the head. Then Jorge Cazares Ruiz. Then Juan Uribe Pena. For lives erased in under 3 weeks. For strangers who never knew the serpent god Apophis had marked them. Inside Nikko's mind, voices spoke fluent Egyptian. Apophis, the coiled serpent of chaos, whispered commandments in a language only he understood. He carved 666 into his forehead with a mirror shard. He sliced his tongue to speak the language of the gods. He tattooed serpents across his face until the man underneath disappeared. Prison psychiatrists had warned for years. Severe schizophrenia, command hallucinations, extreme danger. Their reports gathered dust. Budget cuts needed a sacrifice to. August 30th. Police finally had DNA, footprints, bragging texts. They kicked in the door and found Nikko waiting, smiling like a child proud of his art. In interrogation, he spoke in tongues, laughed until he cried, demanded to be addressed as Rugate, servant of Apophis. The arresting officers, hard men who had seen everything, left the room shaking. The trial became a theater of the damned. Nikko fired his lawyers. He cross-examined witnesses while howling. He slashed his own face in the holding cell, smearing blood sigils on the wall. He sued the state for releasing him too early, claiming they had denied Apophis his rightful harvest. Prosecutors played crime scene video in court. Families wept. Jurors stared at the creature in the defendant's chair and saw something that should not exist. May 2017. 4 counts of first-degree murder. Death sentence. The judge's voice trembled as he spoke the words. Nikko only grinned wider, tongue flicking like the serpent he served. Today he lives in a concrete box on Nebraska's death row. The lights never dim. Guards say sometimes, in the deepest hour of night, they hear low rhythmic chanting in a language no one recognizes. Some tattoos have appeared on his skin that were never there before. Perfect hieroglyphs no needle drew. He writes letters to the courts in mirrored writing, promising the end of order when Apophis rises. Andrea Krueger never saw her daughter start school that fall. Curtis Bradford's last Facebook photo, smiling next to the man who would kill him, still haunts the internet. Jorge and Juan never made it home to families who still light candles on birthdays no one celebrates anymore. Their stories should have been ordinary, love, work, simple dreams. Instead, they became offerings to a madness the system saw coming and chose to ignore. Beautiful soul, thank you for staying with me through this darkness. Your presence here means more than you know. If these words moved you, if Andrea's memory lingers in your heart, then help me build something meaningful. Subscribe, turn on the bell, share this new channel with one person who needs to hear the truth told right. Together we keep their light burning. Number 2 will be waiting when you're ready. And trust me, what Caius Veovis did will make your blood run colder than this. See you there. Number 2, Caius Veovis. The forest was silent except for the low hum of insects and the occasional drip of rain from pine needles. Deep in the Berkshire woods, something was rotting that should never have been left behind. On September 10th, 2011, a hunter's dog refused to move forward. It stood trembling, nose pointed at freshly turned earth. When police dug, they found black plastic bags. Inside, human arms, legs, torsos, carefully dismembered, washed clean of identity. 3 men had simply ceased to exist, and the man who helped erase them had built his face into a warning. Pittsfield, Massachusetts, late summer 2011, a small city nestled against dark mountains, where old money quietly dies and new secrets take root. People still waved at neighbors here. Doors were left unlocked. But beneath that calm surface, something venomous was moving. David Glasser, Edward Frampton, Robert Chadwell, 3 ordinary men sharing a rundown house on Linden Street. David loved classic rock and fixing motorcycles. Ed was a gentle giant who fed every stray cat in the neighborhood. Robert, the youngest, dreamed of getting clean, starting over, testifying against a monster who once ruled his life. They weren't saints. They had records, debts, fears. But they deserved to breathe another morning. They never got the chance. August 28th, 2011, a knock at the door after midnight. David Glasser opened it, thinking it was a friend. Instead, 3 men stormed in wearing masks and gloves. Adam Lee Hall, the enforcer for the local Hells Angels, had come collecting. David was scheduled to testify against him for a brutal beating. Hall didn't want witnesses. He wanted examples. The 3 housemates were bound with duct tape, blindfolded, thrown into a truck, taken to a rented house in Beckett, deep in the woods. For 2 days they were tortured, beaten, burned, cut, then executed with single shots to the head. Afterwards, the bodies were dismembered in a bathtub using saws and kitchen knives, wrapped in tarps and trash bags. Buried in a shallow trench Hall had already prepared, like he knew exactly how this would end. But Hall didn't work alone. He needed someone who enjoyed the work, someone who looked at blood and smiled, someone who had already carved himself into something the world would never forget. Born Roy Gutfinski Jr. in 1980, he shed that name like dead skin. He chose Caius after a vampire, Veovis after a Roman god of plague and vengeance, surgical horns implanted beneath his scalp, eyes tattooed solid black, 666 etched between his brows, his tongue split down the middle, teeth filed. He told people the modifications were spiritual armor. He told others they were a promise. Look upon me in no fear. Police found him because he couldn't resist being seen. Cell towers placed him at the burial site night after night. Witnesses remember the horned man riding in Hall's truck. A jailhouse informant quoted Caius laughing about making the rats disappear for good. September 2014. The courtroom in Springfield smelled of old wood and terror. Reporters who had covered wars looked away when Caius Veovis entered. He glided more than walked, black eyes reflecting nothing, horns catching the fluorescent light like obsidian blades. He stared at the victims' families without blinking. Some swore the temperature dropped when he smiled. Prosecutors laid out the horror in quiet, clinical detail. How the men begged, how the saws sounded, how Caius allegedly stood guard while the bodies were cut apart, humming an old pagan hymn. He took the stand in his own defense, voice soft, almost polite. Claimed he was only the driver. Claimed the horns were just fashion. Claimed he barely knew the men who vanished. The jury deliberated less than a day. September 29th, 2014. Guilty. 3 consecutive life sentences. No possibility of parole. As the foreman spoke, Caius tilted his head, forked tongue tasting the air, and gave the tiniest nod, as if to say, "Finally, they understand what I am." Today he lives in a specially modified cell at MCI Cedar Junction. No contact with other inmates. Cameras watch him 24 hours a day. Guards say he still whispers in Latin at night. Some claim the symbols he scratches into the walls bleed when no one is looking. David Glasser's motorcycle still sits under a tarp in his brother's garage. Ed Frampton's stray cats, Waited weeks on the porch for food that never came. Robert Chadwell's mother keeps his last voicemail on her phone. "I'm doing the right thing, Ma. I promise I'll be okay." They never found all the pieces. Beautiful one. Thank you for holding space for these 3 souls tonight. Your heart is the reason their names will never fade. If this chapter shook you, if David, Ed, and Robert deserve to be remembered, then help this new channel grow so their light reaches further. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, share with one person who believes the truth still matters. Together we honor them. Number 3 waits in the shadows. And what Stephen Port did to trusting young men will make you question every drink you've ever accepted from a stranger. I'll be here when you're ready. Stay close. Number 3, Stephen Port. It was just after dawn when a jogger noticed the body. A young man in designer jeans and a neat hoodie, propped neatly against an old church wall in Barking, East London. He looked asleep, almost peaceful, except his skin had the gray-blue tint of something already lost. Anthony Walgate, 23, fashion student, gentle smile, first of the 4 who would never wake up again. Barking, summer 2014. A place of tired tower blocks and quiet streets where nobody looked too closely. The kind of neighborhood where doors stayed shut and curtains stayed drawn. Perfect hunting ground for someone who offered warmth and asked for trust. Anthony Walgate was soft-spoken, ambitious, saving every penny for fabric and thread. He dreamed of seeing his name on a label in London Fashion Week. He loved his little sister fiercely, sent her voice notes every night so she would fall asleep to his voice. On June 18, 2014, he told a friend he had a private booking, an easy £100 for companionship. He promised to text when he got home. The text never came. Stephen Port lived in a small, tidy flat 10 minutes from that church wall. To neighbors, he was a quiet chef who wore glasses and said good morning. To the young men he met online, he was Steve, the generous one, always offering drinks, always promising safety. What he offered was GHB, colorless, tasteless, lethal in the wrong hands. And Stephen Port had very careful hands. Gabriel Kovari, 22, Slovakian, bright-eyed, newly arrived in London with a backpack full of dreams. He wanted to learn English, become a translator, send money home to his mother. He trusted the wrong profile. 6 weeks after Anthony, Gabriel was found in the exact same churchyard, sitting upright against the wall, as if placed there by someone arranging dolls. Daniel Whitworth, 21, shy, kind, still finding his place in the world. He carried a notebook full of poetry and apologized when he took up space. Stephen lured him with the same promises. This time, when police found Daniel in the graveyard, a forged suicide note lay in his hand. "I'm sorry. I killed Gabriel by accident. I can't live with the guilt." Handwriting experts were never called. The note was accepted as truth. Case closed. Jack Taylor, 25, forklift driver from Dagenham. Loud laugh, huge heart, adored by his sisters. Jack had no history of drugs. He just wanted to meet someone nice. On September 13th, 2015, CCTV caught him walking hand in hand with a smiling man in glasses. The next morning, Jack was propped against the same wall, same position, same gray-blue skin. This time his sisters refused to let him be another overdose. They fought, they begged, they forced the Metropolitan Police to look again. What the police finally discovered inside Stephen Port's flat turned seasoned detectives pale. Dozens of vials of GHB, a camcorder full of unconscious young men being assaulted, a laptop open on videos titled with the victims' real names, trophies, memories, proof. November 2016. The Old Bailey was silent as the footage played. Mothers covered their faces. Jurors wept openly. Stephen Port sat motionless, blinking slowly, as if watching a weather report. No tears. No flinch, just the faintest curl of satisfaction at the corner of his mouth. Guilty. 4 murders. 4 rapes. 10 sexual assaults by penetration. Administering a substance with intent. Whole life term. He will die in prison. But the horror did not end with the verdict. An independent inquiry exposed 17 separate police failures. Mislinks. ignored CCTV. A forged suicide note never tested. Officers who dismissed the deaths because the victims were gay men who used apps and drugs. 17 chances to stop a predator. 17 chances stolen from sons, brothers, friends. Anthony never walked the runway. Gabriel never spoke fluent English to his mother again. Daniel's poetry notebook is still on his childhood desk, untouched. Jack's sisters keep his forklift keys on a chain around their necks. Their light was gentle, hopeful, trusting. Stephenport saw that light and decided it belonged to him to extinguish. Beautiful soul, thank you for carrying their names tonight. Thank you for refusing to look away when the world once did. If Anthony, Gabriel, Daniel, and Jack deserve to be more than statistics, then help this new channel rise so their stories are never silenced again. Subscribe, turn on the bell, share with one person who still believes every life matters. Together we keep their flame alive. Number 4 is already waiting in the dark, and the man they call the Iceman killed with colder precision than any monster you've met so far. I'll be here when you need me. You're not alone. Number 4, Mark Fellows. The summer evening was warm. Children played football in the street. Paul Massey, 55, father, grandfather, feared across the Northwest, stepped out his modest red BMW outside his home in Clifton, Salford. He never heard the first shot. 18 bullets from a Second World War submachine gun tore through the air in less than 4 seconds. Massey staggered, collapsed against his front gate, and died looking at the sky he had ruled for decades. The killer folded into the shadows and vanished on a silent mountain bike. No roar of an engine, no scream of tires, just the soft click of gears and the smell of cordite drifting over children's chalk drawings on the pavement. Salford, 2015. A city stitched together by canals, council estates, and old loyalties. 2 gangs had torn the stitches out. The A-Team, led by Paul Massey, once called Salford's Mr. Big, and a younger, hungrier splinter group who wanted a crown. Both sides bled. Neither side forgave. And somewhere in the crossfire waited a man who belonged to no side at all. Paul Massey was more than a headline. He had a laugh that filled rooms, a habit of slipping 50-pound notes into the pockets of struggling single moms, and a reputation that made grown men cross the street. He kissed his grandchildren goodnight every evening he could. On July 26, 2015, he never made it through the door. 3 years later, May 2018. John Kinsella, 53, Scouse legend, once saved footballer Steven Gerrard from a gangster's hammer, walked beside his pregnant partner in the Merseyside drizzle. A cyclist in black appeared from nowhere, 2 shots from a silenced Glock, 1 to the back, 1 to the head. The cyclist fired 2 warning shots in the air to stop the terrified woman chasing him, then pedaled away like a ghost on wheels. Same calm, same precision, same mountain bike. Detectives had nothing for years. No DNA, no faces, no weapons recovered, until they looked at a simple Garmin fitness watch seized from a quiet semi-detached house in Warrenton. Mark Fellows, 38, fitness-obsessed, no criminal empire, no flashy cars, just a man who ran marathons, ate clean, and killed for money with the cold efficiency of a sniper. They called him the Iceman because his pulse never rose above 60, even when he pulled the trigger. The watch told a story the streets never did. GPS breadcrumbs showed Fellows scouting Massey's house for weeks, recording routes, timing dogs, mapping sightlines. He had rehearsed the murder like a Sunday run. Encrypted EncroChat messages confirmed the Kinsella contract. Burner phones. Cycling gear soaked in gunshot residue. Everything planned down to the second. Liverpool Crown Court, winter 2019. Fellows sat in the dock in a plain gray sweater, hands folded, eyes empty. No tattoos, no bravado, no emotion when the family sobbed, even when his spotter turned Queen's evidence and wept on the stand. Fellows only blinked slowly, like a lizard watching flies. January 2019. Guilty on both counts. Whole life order. The judge called him a stone-cold executioner who killed without flicker of hesitation. Fellows gave the tiniest shrug, as if the sentence were just another interval on a training plan. Today he lives in the segregation unit at HMP Franklin, surrounded by Britain's most hated. Even child killers keep their distance. He runs on the spot in his cell for hours, counts heartbeats like rosary beads, and never speaks unless spoken to. Some nights, guards say, he stares at the wall and smiles at nothing at all. Paul Massey's grandchildren still leave flowers at the gate where he fell. John Kinsella's son was born 4 months after the murder and has never heard his father's voice. 2 families shattered by a man who killed the way other people go for a jog. Beautiful soul, thank you for walking these blood-stained streets with me tonight. Your heart is the only thing warmer than the Iceman's ever was. If Paul and John deserve to be remembered as fathers, not just headlines, then help this new channel grow so their stories echo further than any bullet ever could. Subscribe, turn the bell on, share with one person who still believes humanity matters. Together we keep their warmth alive. Number 5 is already waiting. And what Michael Madison did to 3 forgotten women will make you question how many screams a city can ignore before it loses its soul. I'll be here when the shadows feel too heavy. You're never alone. Number 5, Michael Madison. The smell arrived before the truth did. July 19, 2013. East Cleveland, Ohio. A quiet street of sagging porches and overgrown lots. A woman called 911 because the stench from the garage next door was making her children gag. Maggots crawled across the cracked driveway like a living carpet. When officers forced the door, the heat hit them first, thick, wet, wrong. Inside a black plastic bag, something moved. Not alive, just busy dying a different way. East Cleveland, summer 2013. A city that had already buried too many dreams under foreclosure signs and broken glass. Here, missing person posters faded faster than hope. Here, some women disappeared and nobody marched, until the smell refused to stay quiet. Sherelle Terry was 18, fresh high school graduate with a laugh that turned heads. She volunteered with special needs children, braided her little sister's hair every morning, and carried college acceptance letters in her purse like love notes from the future. She vanished walking home from a family cookout. Angela Deskins was 38, soft-spoken, quick to smile, always the first to offer a plate when someone was hungry. She fought addiction, but never stopped fighting for tomorrow. She disappeared between paychecks, between addresses, between the cracks nobody bothered to seal. Shedisha Sheely was 28, mother of a young son who still slept with her favorite hoodie because it smelled like her. She loved R&B ballads and dreamed of owning a little beauty shop one day. She was last seen leaving a corner store with a bag of sweets for her boy. All 3 were wrapped in plastic, strangled with cords, posed like broken dolls. All 3 were found within 100 yards of each other. All 3 were hidden by the same man who once told a girlfriend, "I want to be the next Anthony Soul." He meant it as worship. He made it a promise. Michael Madison, 35, registered sex offender, drifter, collector of violent pornography and newspaper clippings about Cleveland's last serial strangler. He moved from abandoned house to abandoned house, leaving screams behind that neighbors heard but never reported, because some screams in some places sound like the city itself. When SWAT finally breached the door of his hideout, they found him sitting on a mattress, eating cereal, watching live news of the search on a stolen television. He smirked. "Took y'all long enough." The trial was quiet agony. Crime scene photos projected on a courtroom wall. Mothers rocked in their seats. Then came the moment no one was ready for. Van Terry, Sherelda's father, stood to give his victim impact statement. He started calm. "I guess we're supposed to find forgiveness in our hearts." Mid-sentence, he vaulted the rail, lunged across the table, and wrapped his hands around Madison's throat before deputies could pull him off. The room erupted. Madison never stopped smiling. May 2016. Death sentence. The judge called him a plague in human form. Madison shrugged, as if the words were weather. Today he waits on Ohio's death row, still smiling in mugshots, still writing letters claiming he's innocent, still idolizing the monster who came before him. The houses where he hid the women have been torn down. Grass grows where blood once soaked the floorboards. But the smell never really leaves a neighborhood. Shirelda never started college. Angela never got her tomorrow. Shedish's little boy is growing up asking why mommy never came home. They were daughters, sisters, mothers, dreamers. They mattered long before they became evidence markers. Beautiful soul, thank you for refusing to let them be forgotten. Thank you for breathing their names when the city once looked away. If Shirelda, Angela, and Shedish deserve more than a footnote in someone else's nightmare, then help this new channel rise so their light outshines the darkness that took them. Subscribe, turn the bell on, share with one person who still believes every woman deserves to be seen. Together we carry their names forward. Number 6 is already waiting in the silence, and the man who killed grandmothers with nothing more than a pillow and a smile will make you fear kindness itself. I'll be here when you're ready. You're never alone. Number 6, Billy Kemmermeer. The corridor smelled faintly of lavender and overcooked peas. Another quiet evening in another upscale retirement community in North Dallas. An old woman's apartment door stood slightly ajar. Inside, the television murmured to an empty chair. On the bedroom floor lay 81-year-old Lou T. Harris, diamond earrings missing. Pillows still pressed against her face, though she had stopped fighting hours earlier. Her lips were blue. Her fingernails had torn the pillowcase in silent protest. No forced entry. No struggle loud enough to wake the neighbors. Just a gentle death delivered by a gentle-seeming man. Dallas, Fort Worth, 2016 to 2018. A ring of gleaming senior living facilities where families paid fortunes for peace of mind, where residents wore panic buttons like jewelry and still believed the world outside had grown kindred with age. 18 confirmed deaths, possibly dozens more, all written off as natural causes, until one survivor refused to die quietly. Mary Bartell was 91. Tiny, sharp-eyed, still drove herself to the beauty shop every Thursday. On March 19th, 2018, she opened her door to a man in neat scrubs who said he was maintenance. He smiled. He closed the door behind him. He placed a pillow over her face until the fight went out of her frail arms. Then the lights came back. Mary gasped awake, jewelry gone, chest burning but alive. She looked straight into the face of the man who would have been her killer. "I know what I saw," she told police. "I know what he tried to do." Billy Kipkerer Kemmermeer, born in Kenya, 1972, came to America on a tourist visa that melted into the shadows, worked as a carer, a home health aide, a consultant to the elderly, always polite, always smiling, always watching who wore what jewelry, who lived alone, who trusted a kind face. He carried no gun. He needed no knife. A pillow was enough. A pillow and the certainty that no one would look twice at another peaceful senior death. When police finally arrested him in March 2018, he sat in a parking lot with a jewelry box on the passenger seat. Inside, rings and necklaces belonging to a woman found smothered the day before. In his apartment, they discovered more boxes, dozens of them, each labeled in neat handwriting with a name and a date. Trophies from graves that were never supposed to be opened again. Reopened autopsies revealed the truth. Bruising around the mouth, broken hyoid bones, pillow fibers and airways. Women aged 76 to 94, smothered in their own beds, then robbed of the few treasures they had left. Some were followed home from Walmart. Some opened their doors to a man pretending to help. All died believing they were safe. Dallas County Courthouse, 2022. Family after family clutched framed photographs while the evidence was read. Kemmermeer sat immaculate in a suit, face blank, eyes scanning the gallery like he was counting exits. Convicted of 2 capital murders, Lou T. Harris and Mary Brooks. Sentenced to life without parole. 18 families finally had a name for the shadow that stole their mothers. Hundreds more still wait for answers. Then, on September 19th, 2023, justice arrived without ceremony. In his cell at the Caulfield unit, another inmate beat Billy Kemmermeer to death with a makeshift weapon. Prison officials called it an incident. No family claimed his body. No one mourned. Lou T. Harris's diamond ring was recovered from a pawn shop ticket in Kemmermeer's wallet. It now rests on her granddaughter's finger, the one who used to fall asleep on her grandmother's lap listening to stories of Vietnam. Mary Bartell lived to see her 93rd birthday, surrounded by great-grandchildren who never knew how close they came to losing her. They were the last chapter of long, rich lives. They deserved soft goodnights and gentle dreams. Instead, they met a man who saw their age as permission. Thank you for refusing to let kindness be weaponized ever again. If Lou T., Mary, and all the silenced mothers deserve to be remembered as queens and not statistics, then help this new channel rise so their wisdom outlives a monster who tried to erase them. Subscribe, ring the bell, share with one person who still believes old age should be sacred. Together we protect the light they carried so long. Number 7 is already breathing in the dark. And the night a woman walked 10 minutes from safety only to meet a predator the system had released 9 days earlier will break something inside you. I'll be here when the tears come. You're never alone. Number 7, Jordan McSweeney. The night was mild, the streets still humming with weekend life. Ilford, East London, June 26, 2022. A young woman in a black hoodie walked alone, hands in pockets, earbuds in, counting the minutes until she was home. 10 minutes. That was all that separated Zara Alina from her front door. Behind her, a shadow matched every step she took. He had already followed 9 women that night. Zara was the one who never made it around the corner. Ilford at midnight feels safe to those who grew up there. Corner shops still open. Taxis crawling past. Streetlights bright enough to read by. But safety is a feeling, not a promise. Zara Alina was 35. Brilliant, warm, fiercely principled. She had just begun her dream job at the Royal Courts of Justice, studying to become a solicitor because she believed the law could be kinder than the world had been to her family. She never drank, never smoked, sent voice notes to her nieces every night so they would fall asleep to her laugh. That night she had been out with friends, celebrating new beginnings. She texted her group chat, "Walking home now, love you all." It was the last message she ever sent. Jordan McSweeney had been free for 9 days. 9 days after serving yet another sentence for yet another violent crime. 28 previous convictions. 69 separate offenses. Probation officers had marked him high risk of serious harm to the public, especially women. They missed appointments. They downgraded alerts. They let him walk. He spent those 9 days living in a van, drinking, watching women through windows, following them down quiet streets. CCTV captured everything. The way he stalked, circled, gave up, moved on, until Zara appeared on Cranbrook Road. He closed the distance fast, grabbed her from behind, dragged her into a darkened driveway, punched, kicked, stamped on her face until bones cracked like eggshell, then sexually assaulted her while she lay unconscious. He left her dying on the concrete and walked away adjusting his hood. Neighbors heard the screams but thought it was just another fight. By the time paramedics arrived, Zara's heartbeat was already fading. She died in the ambulance, surrounded by strangers who fought to keep the light in her eyes. Police had him within 36 hours. DNA, footprints, hours of CCTV showing the predator rehearsing his hunt. He claimed he was too drunk to remember. The footage remembered for him. December 2022. Old Bailey. Zara's family sat in the front row holding photographs and each other. McSweeney stood in the dock, head down, occasionally glancing at the public gallery with flat, empty eyes. He pleaded guilty to murder and sexual assault. Life sentence. Minimum term 38 years. The judge called him a highly dangerous sexual predator. Zara's aunt, Farah Naz, spoke to the family. "We don't want revenge. We want change. So no other woman has to die walking home." An independent inquiry later exposed the chaos. Missed probation calls, ignored warnings, a risk assessment that was never escalated. Zara was failed by every safeguard that was meant to cage the monster they had already locked up 28 times before. Today, her family campaigns in Parliament, in schools, on the streets. They have turned unbearable grief into a demand the country can no longer ignore. Fix the broken system that hands violent men the keys to the night. Zara Alina should be 37 now. She should be arguing cases in court, planning her wedding, sending silly voice notes to her nieces. Instead, her name is carved into a memorial bench that faces the exact spot where she fell. Beautiful soul, thank you for walking those 10 minutes with Zara tonight. Thank you for refusing to let her death be just another headline. If Zara deserves a world where women can walk home without fear, then help this new channel grow so her voice reaches every corner that still needs to hear it. Subscribe, ring the bell, share with one person who believes the night should belong to everyone. Together we make sure no one ever forgets her name. Number 8 is already waiting in the mortuary lights. And what David Fuller did to the dead, and to the families who trusted them to peace, will make you question where true evil ends and violation begins. I'll be here when you need to hold someone's hand through the dark. You're never alone. Number 8, David Fuller. The mortuary was always cold. Even in summer, the air tasted of metal and disinfectant. At night, when the hospital above slept, the only sound was the low hum of the fridges and the occasional click of a door that should have stayed locked. For 12 years, one man held a master key. For 12 years, he came after hours alone, carrying nothing but a small digital camera and the silence of the already dead. Tunbridge Wells, Kent, a respectable town of Victorian houses and quiet streets. 2 unsolved murders from 1987 haunted its memory like ghosts that refused to lie down. Wendy Nell, 25. Caroline Pierce, 20. Both sexually assaulted, both strangled in their own beds, 5 months apart. No DNA matches. No suspects. The files gathered dust for 33 years. Then, in December 2020, a routine familial DNA trawl finally spoke. A hit, a hospital electrician named David Fuller, 66 years old, married, 2 children, reliable, always willing to work late shifts. The same man who had keys to every restricted door in 2 hospitals for 3 decades. When police searched his neat semi-detached home, they found a hidden hard drive glued behind a drawer. Then another, then a cupboard rigged like a safe. Inside, 80 terabytes of footage, meticulously labeled folders, names, dates, hospital wristband numbers, over 100 women and girls, some as young as 9, some as old as 100, all filmed while David Fuller violated their bodies in the morgue. He entered after midnight, swiped his card, chose a fridge, wheeled the trolley to the viewing room, undressed them, spoke softly to corpses as if they could still hear, filmed every act in high definition. Sometimes he returned to the same body night after night until it was collected for burial. He kept souvenirs, locks of hair, jewelry, toenail clippings. He logged them like a librarian of the dead. Wendy Nell had been one of the first. Caroline Pierce, too. He confessed both 1,987 murders within hours of arrest, calm, precise, describing how he watched them for weeks, how he hid in Wendy's wardrobe, how he dragged Caroline from a taxi rank into the dark. He never explained why. He simply said the urges had always been there, and the mortuary gave him a place to feed them without interruption. November 2021. Maidstone Crown Court. Families sat in rows clutching photographs of daughters, mothers, grandmothers. Some had buried their loved ones, believing the last hands on them had been gentle. Now they learned those hands belonged to a monster in the dock. Fuller pleaded guilty to 2 murders and to sexually abusing at least 101 corpses. The youngest, a 9-year-old girl who died of cancer. The oldest, a centenarian who had lived through 2 world wars. Whole life order. He will die in prison. After sentencing, the inquiry exposed a horror almost as great as the crimes themselves. No CCTV in the morgues. No swipe card logs checked. No second key required. Fuller had been caught on camera in 2016 carrying a child's body at 3 a.m. Security thought he was just doing his job. Hospitals across Britain are still counting how many more may have been violated. Wendy Nell's wedding dress still hangs in her mother's wardrobe, never worn. Caroline Pierce's father kept her bedroom exactly as she left it for 33 years. A 9-year-old girl's parents were told their daughter's body had been treated with dignity. They buried her thinking she was at peace. They buried her knowing nothing. Thank you for sitting with these families in the coldest room imaginable. Thank you for refusing to look away from the darkest violation of all. If Wendy, Caroline, and every silent soul in those fridges deserve to rest in true peace now, then help this new channel rise so the world never forgets what was stolen from them. Subscribe, ring the bell, share with one person who still believes the dead should be sacred. Together we guard the silence they were denied. Number 9 is already loading the shotgun, and the 12 minutes that turned a Plymouth suburb into a graveyard will make you question every angry voice the internet ever amplified. I'll be here when the rage and the grief feel too much. You're never alone. Number 9, Jake Davison. The evening was golden, the kind of warm August light that makes children stay outside longer. Biddick Drive, Keyham, Plymouth. A mother opened her front door to her 22-year-old son. The last thing Maxine Davison ever heard was the blast of her own shotgun in the hallway. 12 minutes later, 5 people lay dead in the street, and the boy who once cried when he lost a Mario Kart had become Britain's worst mass shooter in over a decade. Plymouth, August 12, 2021. A quiet naval city of steep hills and ordinary lives. Neighbors watered hanging baskets. Dogs barked at seagulls. Nobody noticed the darkness pooling inside a terrace house at number 29. Maxine Davison was 51, a devoted mother who still called her grown son my baby. She worried about his isolation, his weight gain, the hours he spent hunched over a laptop bathed in blue light. She begged him to get help. That night, she probably asked again. The shotgun answered. Jake Davison had legally owned the pump-action weapon since 2017. He posted YouTube videos titled, "It's over for me. The world is against men like me. I was born to be alone." He called himself black-pilled. He worshipped Elliot Rodger, the 2014 Isla Vista killer. He typed thousands of words about being genetically inferior, about women who rejected him, about a society that had abandoned him. Mental health services had closed his file. Police had seized a gun after an assault charge in 2020, then quietly handed it back 5 weeks before the massacre because paperwork said he was low risk. At 6:11 p.m., he shot his mother 3 times in the hallway. At 6:13 p.m., he stepped outside in shorts and a black t-shirt, shotgun cradled like an old friend. Sophie Martin, age 3, walked hand in hand with her father Lee on the pavement. Lee was carrying an Ice Age toy for his little girl. 2 blasts. Father and daughter fell together. Sophie never let go of the toy. Stephen Washington, 59, was strolling with his dogs. He loved jazz and fed the ducks every morning. He died on the grass verge, one hand still reaching for his spaniel's lead. Kate Shepard, 66, had just left the hair salon where she worked. She was on the phone to her husband, laughing about dinner. She died outside a vape shop, still clutching her handbag. 12 minutes. 5 dead, 2 more wounded. Then Davison turned the gun on himself beside a children's playground. The nation woke to aerial shots of teddy bears and flowers piling higher than the police tape. A 3-year-old's tiny wellies placed gently beside her father's work boots. A community that had never known terror now knew it by name. An inquest later exposed the failures in excruciating detail. The firearms officer who returned the shotgun had no proper training. Devon and Cornwall police had no system to cross-check mental health records with gun licenses. YouTube's algorithm had fed Davison murder manifestos for years and never once flagged him. He slipped through every net meant to catch him. Maxine Davison only ever wanted her son back. Lee Martin will never walk his daughter to school. Sophie will never start year 1. Stephen's dogs waited at the gate for 3 days. Kate's husband still sets 2 places at the table. Beautiful soul, thank you for holding these 5 lights tonight. Thank you for refusing to scroll past their names. If Maxine, Lee, Sophie, Stephen, and Kate deserve a world that listens before it arms the angry, then help this new channel grow so their story forces a change they never lived to see. Subscribe, ring the bell, share with one person who still believes a child should be able to play outside without becoming a headline. Together we keep their warmth alive. Number 10 is already waiting in the blood-stained hallway. And the 17 minutes that turn a loving girlfriend into evidence will make you question everything you thought you knew about a bad trip. I'll be here when the grief feels too sharp. You're never alone. Number 10, Jake Notman. The house was quiet except for the low hum of the television. November 20th, 2020. Staffordshire, England. A young couple curled up on the sofa, laughing, eating takeaway, planning a lazy weekend. Then Jake Notman swallowed a cannabis edible laced with magic mushrooms. 17 minutes later, Lauren Bloomer was screaming into her phone, recording the last moments of her life. The audio still exists. 17 minutes of pure chemical horror. Tamworth at night feels safe. Neat cul-de-sacs, fairy lights and windows, neighbors who wave over garden fences. Inside number 38, the fairy lights stayed on while hell unfolded. Lauren Bloomer was 25. Bright, warm, impossible not to love. She studied digital forensics at university, cosplayed at weekends, collected plush anime cats, and sent her mom good morning texts every single day without fail. She adored Jake. Even when he grew moody, even when lockdown made her withdraw, she stayed gentle. That night she Googled how to help someone having a bad mushroom trip. She never finished reading the page. Jake Notman was 27. Quiet, sometimes sullen, but never violent. No criminal record. No history of hurting anyone. He took the edible because friends said it would be fun. Within an hour he was pacing, sweating, muttering that the walls were breathing. He looked at Lauren and did not recognize her face. The phone recording starts at 1:14 a.m. Lauren's voice is calm at first, trying to soothe him, then panic, then pleading, then the unmistakable sound of a kitchen drawer opening, a knife taken, 7 deep stab wounds to her chest and neck. Lauren somehow made it outside barefoot, bleeding, screaming for help. Jake followed. He got into his Ford Cougar, started the engine, and ran her over twice. Neighbors watched in frozen horror as the car reversed and drove forward again, as if making sure. By the time police arrived, Lauren lay unrecognizable on the cold tarmac. Jake stood naked in the street, covered in her blood, staring at the sky. He told the first officer, "I think I've killed my girlfriend. I thought it was a game. I thought I was in a dream." The trial became a battleground between science and grief. Psychiatrists described acute drug-induced psychosis, complete loss of reality, no memory of the act. The prosecution called it murder anyway, drugged or not. He picked up the knife. He chose to drive. The jury returned a middle verdict: manslaughter by reason of diminished responsibility. November 2021. 8 years and 8 months. Lauren's mother wept so hard she had to be carried from court. Today, Jake Notman is prisoner number A3672FL at HMP Davigate. He has no memory of the night that erased the love of his life. He wakes every morning to the same blank space where Lauren used to be. Lauren's plush cats still sit on her childhood bed. Her university notes are exactly where she left them. Her mother plays the last voicemail on repeat. "Night, Mum. Love you loads. See you tomorrow. Beautiful soul. Thank you for staying with Lauren until the very last second of her life. Thank you for refusing to let a bad trip become her entire story." If Lauren Bloomer deserves to be remembered as a girl who loved fiercely and died trying to help the person she loved most, then help this new channel rise so her warmth outlives a nightmare that stole it. Subscribe, ring the bell, share with one person who still believes love should never end in blood. Together we keep her laughter alive. This is the end of the series. 10 chapters, 10 monsters, countless lights they try to put out. But every time you listened, you kept those lights burning brighter. Thank you for walking the entire path with me. You never once looked away. That is rare. That is beautiful. That is why the darkness will never win as long as people like you exist. Until the next journey, stay close, stay kind, stay safe. I'll see you in the shadows when you're ready again.